And here we go to save the day. It's time to rock. Yes, indeed. All right, beautiful peeps. It is a delightful Saturday here in sunny Fort Myers, Florida. Let me get a little bit of a drink. And we will be starting in about a half a minute here on this topic of building purposeful legacies. Make sure we got everything rolling the way it should be. And it is. We're live out there in the land of Roctitude. All right. Everything seems to be a go. Command Central. So with that, welcome to the January 2019 Health, Wealth, and Happiness Monthly Mastery Training. Today we're going to dive deep on how to create purposeful legacies, is what I like to call them. So the arc of this, as many of the people joined me for our January 1st, 2019 New Year's Day Jumpstart, is to say, okay, what is it that we can put into the world that can help us, like the creator of this thing, and those we love, those we care for, those we serve, all these people really enjoy growing, keeping perspective with things, and owning a process, right? Sometimes it can be in relation to helping people grow their business, but in line of the 10-day Health, Wealth, and Happiness Challenge, if you happen to have gone through it, the amazing part about it is the fact that it's about helping you live a full, connected, joyous life. Feeling your best, being your best, looking your best, all these things inside 10 days. And it took me, I don't even know the number here, probably 20 years. And then finally, like, getting the training and depth from what we do in high performance to say, oh, these were the 10 things that I should have known when I was 18. And then putting it into what we call it as an ambition line, where it's kind of like, here's step one, here's step two, here's step three, to really going after and keeping perspective with. I would say keeping consistent with, keeping motivated, keeping sustenance with, something that helps us really dial in these things, especially in the land of abundance, right? Today we have all these options. Drive down a road and you have all this food that, most of it, not necessarily that good for you, especially if you consume it and only it over an enduring period of time. So we got to be really careful what we're dialed into, along with the land of distraction, digital devices, all these kind of things. So today the lay of the land goes like this. First and foremost, kind of break down what we're going to do. We're going to talk perspective, step one. Kind of say, why are we doing what we do on this beautiful planet of ours? Then we're going to dive into training. So we're going to walk through a beautiful 5-part framework. Then we're going to dive into tactics. So if you feel like you want to put something of goodwill into the world, you can. And you can own it. And I'm here to help you, support you, direct you, care for you, love on you, and make sure if you're going to go after this, that you got somebody in your corner, somebody's challenging you to do it, somebody you can kind of keep accountability with, so that if you decide to put something of this nature into the world, or just to help even grow your business through something like this, whatever that is for you, that you have best practices, somebody who loves what you're doing, loves the fact you're putting goodwill in the world, and can support you and direct you, help you, teach you, whatever that is, based on the life of what I've done and what I've been able to create, not only in the health, wealth, and happiness world, but in the world of business and online over the last 30 years. That being said, here's what we know. The Health, Wealth, and Happiness Challenge has been online since October of, drumroll please, 2013. And I was going to High Performance Academy then, and I actually wrote the email sequence for it in 2013, every day, the day before every day rolled out, because I wanted it to feel real. And I'll talk about the distinction of all the technicalities of that as we get into the training today. But first and foremost, if you've been here before, you know how we start. We start with perspective keeping. We're going to change it up this session, and I think we're going to change it up as we move through this year to really go after what I've seen so many people grab onto from overall, more basic approach We usually start with our life assessment, which you can take and do. Today we're going to just go into the 5 Ps, then we're going to go into the 10 needle movers. So we got the 5 Ps, and if you don't know what those are, we're going to break that down for you. Then the 10 needle movers. These things fuel us to really going after the work that we're going to cover. I'm so excited for you because this is kind of new. So here's something that you can get if you really want to make this real for you. It's called my visualization worksheet. If you were in our 2019 New Year's Day Jumpstart, you saw it as my 2019 vision. And you can go to, and I'll put it right up here for you, if you want to grab that, bit.ly/vision for you 2. So it's VISION, the number 4, the letter U, number 2. Vision for you. And it's just a one-sheeter. And on that sheet, we have MLSS. The M and the S on the left side are green. The L and the S on the right side are red. More, less, start, stop. Does that all make sense? Let me turn this volume down just a notch over here. I can hear my headset. That lets me know that sound's coming out to you. And there it is. And we got that covered. Cool. Okay, so that being said, if you go ahead and get that worksheet, or if you don't have capacity to get that worksheet right now, whatever it is, get out a sheet of paper, take a line down the middle, a line horizontally, a line vertically, and more, less, top quadrants, start, stop. And all we're doing here as we go through this, we're going to rate ourselves in these 5 Ps and in the 10 needle movers, as we're just saying, what do we want to do more of as we go into the next month? What do we want less of? What do we want to start? What do we want to stop? My challenge for you is to just throw all kinds of stuff in those boxes, and at the very end, maybe after our session today, is to go out and just highlight one in each area. And that'll be it. The beauty of it is we have 4 weeks between our next training and now, right? So the first week, you might do more of this. The second week, you might do less of this. The third week, you might start that. The fourth week, you might stop that. Or whatever order makes sense for you. Cool? I hope this is helping you. This is so powerful in regard to just the basics of personal development, self-improvement. So here we go. Let's take a look back through the last 4 weeks. So what are we at? January 12th? So just before the holidays kicked off, December 12th to today. And I'd love for you to think about the first P. How purposeful have you felt over the holidays through today in the last 4 weeks? 0, not purposeful at all. 10, crushing it. Now, purposeful, let me give you a little context and framing. Purposeful for people who don't have a defined purpose statement, like what we teach in High Performance, Session 11. We build the case through all our work to get to a place where we can define who we want to be, what we want to do, and why it's important in a beautiful statement. You know? If you don't have that, so many people report they feel purposeful when they're connecting with their loved ones on a consistent basis. They're doing things to help others. I always say they're doing things to help others improve their life somehow. What we've discovered and what science shows and what just psychology shows too, is that when people help other people, down whatever path it is, you know, if you have a job to do that or if you're just doing that because it's who you are or both, when people help other people, the science shows we feel purposeful. So I hope that gives you some context. 0 to 10, how have you felt in the last, I'm going to do mine in red, in the last 4 weeks, basically since December 12th through today. And if you're watching the replay, just the last 4 weeks for you. So for me, my purpose has been a 9. I know there's a little more I can do. I'm incredibly clear, as you know, about my purpose statement and what I do, the 5 Ps and helping you and doing all that. I feel like there's a little more. I can reduce some of the tactics and tech and do more delegating, and we're on that so I can put more purpose in the world. You follow? Cool. Second P, how passionate, how emotionally connected, involved, enthused have you felt over the last 4 weeks? 0? Yeah. No, none. Zip. I don't even have a pulse. 10, owning it. What is that for you? Take a moment, maybe deep breathe. Think about the last 4 weeks. What has it been through the holidays? How passionate have you been? Just going after it, giving gifts if that's what you did. Going and meeting friends and family. Maybe your work, how passionate have you been in that? Overall average. And I have to say, there is an 8 for me. I've been an 8. Here's what I know, get in my head, and I want to say, and maybe this is an excuse, that when it gets darker earlier, I feel like hibernating. And I feel more introverted, I guess that would be a way of describing it. And so I have to kind of, I don't know if fight's a good word, but I have to battle that and really go after, wait a minute, no. I got to bring the energy, or as we say in high performance, bring the joy. Own that, right? Which leads us right into our next topic. How positive have you felt in life over the last 4 weeks? What's showing up for you there? So when you look back from December 12th through today, or the last 4 weeks, you're watching the replay, what is it for you? How positive have you felt? How much have you been bringing the joy? And I want to qualify for your own well-being, for in your own head, as well as to the world. Some people, they're like, to the world I'm doing great, but to myself, not so good. So what is that for you? For me, I'm going to say that's a 9. There's been a couple days where I've just woken up like, whoa, totally thrown off. But I have practices in play that really focus. One of those practices is this beauty, the high performance planner, where we sit in the morning and at night and kind of just spend some time visualizing how we can bring emotion and positivity into our day. And asking what's going to throw us off today, right? So that's been really helpful for me. Just taking that time. Now I can say this, I haven't done that every day, just the way things have shown up, but I've done it 85, 90% of the time. Filled out my high performance planner, really working on it. I'm questioning what were happening on the days that I didn't do that. So how have you been doing? Bringing positivity into your head, into your being, and to the world. Is there anything there for you want more of? I want to do things like this because that increases my positivity. I want to do less of these things because that sucks the positivity right out of me. I want to start doing this. I want to stop doing that. So if you got your sheet out, hopefully you're filling some things in related to these first 3 Ps. You follow? I hope you're finding this helpful because a lot of people reported, as we did the more or less start stop, it's so easy to grasp. And then when we put context on it with this stuff, it's like, oh, now I have some, now I know what kind of direction I need to go. Now I get more clarity, more focus. I can get more energy around that or reduce energy around that. Really helpful. 4th P, productivity. And again, I want to frame in the world of high performance, bringing the joy. It isn't about getting more done per se, as much as it is about doing your life's work, going after your life's ambitions, presuming you have life's ambitions. So let's start the conversation there real quick. Do you have defined life's ambitions for 2019? If you need some illustration, things like I'm going to go out and have more fun. I'm going to go, for me, go to the beach, try new places that are experiences to eat. My wife and I, we love doing those kind of things. Not pigging out, but just new awesome experiences. I'm going to go through, plan bigger trips, plan quarterly getaways, something we teach in high performance, 90-day getaways, 3 to 4 days away. Could even be a staycation. But just disconnecting from maybe digital devices, work, and having that time. That's all part of productivity. So many people think productivity is only about work and getting stuff done. But in high performance, we teach it as it's harmony in life and business. So it's harmony personally and professionally. So how have you been doing in terms of the last 4 weeks with your productivity? Context that way. I'm going to say a 9. I've been really crushing it. We've had so much. I think this is the hardest I've worked tactically in the last 3 weeks, 2 weeks, than I've worked ever because we got so many things we're setting up. And it's easy for me to dive into that mode and not come out and be connected and doing the relationship work and all the stuff that we teach in our Business Internet Monthly Mastery. But I've had to really double down and get this stuff sorted so that we can go into 2019, once this is done, just guns blazing, ready to roll. You follow? The last P, how profitable have you been in the last 4 weeks? So what I mean by that is, how well have you been living within your means, enjoying life? So living within your means can mean paying the bills, having money to enjoy life, and having savings for the future. Kind of the 3 buckets. Taking care of the bills and the debts, if you have any. Enjoying life, saving for the future. You follow that tier? How have you been doing the last 4 weeks? I've got to tell you, right about now is when those credit card bills from Christmas, holidays come in. And people are like, uh-oh. Yeah, we were budgeted $500 and it's $1,250. What happened? All right, well, we got to work on that. So we really want to pay attention to that. The highest performers, and what I teach, is just making sure we got our finger on the pulse of these things, rocking it out. You follow? So for me, I'm going to say that's a 10, only because I teach that and have really, really owned reduction of stuff. Had some great experiences that cost some money, but those are all part of, I would dare say, a budget. For me, I don't really do budgeting. I just have it automatically set up so that I know what I can spend per month. I guess that's a budget. I always follow the David Bach automatic millionaire mentality and roll in it there and making sure we got that. So with what I've just shared, anything show up for you, I want you to reflect on your numbers, and I want you to use that vision for you too worksheet. More, less, start, stop. So here's how that can work. To be more purposeful, I need to do this. To reduce things that sort of hinder me from being purposeful, I need to do less of this. I need to start a practice. I need to start something here to feel better, to feel more positive. Maybe start the high performance productivity planner. I need to stop following the cat videos on YouTube, which my girls and I did watch a few cat videos over the holidays. They're hilarious. I get it. We didn't suck up a day doing it. You follow? So what kind of distractions you need to stop, right? So let's go ahead and dive into the 10 needle movers, which actually set the stage for today's discussion. Because the 10 needle movers are based on the 10-day Health, Wealth, and Happiness Challenge. So now we'll get more context for start, stop, more, less. You follow? Very first one, as you can probably see here, is sleep. In the last 4 weeks, 0 to 10, how well have you done in two parts? Going to bed on time, getting up on time, whatever time is for you, that's totally your call, but also getting good quality sleep. You follow? So the human body, from what we know from biology and science, says we need about 7 to 9 hours of sleep. How well have you been doing there? That may change for you depending on who you are and the way your body's been conditioned and whatever that is. I know people who get 6 to 7 hours and they seem totally fine. So what is it for you? In the last 4 weeks, have you gotten good quality rest consistently? 0, no, I don't even know what sleep is. I'm a walking zombie. 10, I've crushed it. So what is that for you? So I'm going to give myself an 8. There's been a couple nights where I wake up at 3, 4, 5. Primarily, when the girls were getting ready to go back to school, I just wanted to make sure Daddy wasn't missing the alarm. My brain was like, is it time yet? Nope. Oh. What? Is it time yet? Nope. And I got up before the alarm anyway. So that was one sort of whoops. And I don't know that I could have done much differently to get around that. But I know I can do better on my sleep. I've been doing really well at shutting down around 9, 10, sometimes 10:30, and just really getting into a good, solid, snuggly sleep. So what is it for you though? If you're having issues here, what do you have to do more of? What do you have to do less of? What do you need to start? What do you need to stop towards ramping up your rest? What's showing up for you? Anything? Would love to know. Next is hydration. How have you been doing at drinking water? Like lots and lots of water. We aim for 3 liters, basically a gallon of water a day. That's the sort of baseline, especially with cold, dry air for us Floridians, because we're used to having hot, humid air. Keeps us hydrated just from the outside, right? The cold, dry air sucks the humidity, sucks the water out of our being, quick. So I'm having to double up on my water intake. So for me, that's been 9. Been doing real well there. Again, more, less, start, stop. Anything there for you. One big sort of illustration was when I realized that I needed to drink more water, I just had to have it in front of me. So I got these 2 water bottles and I have them there. And if they're not with me, I'm like, I'm missing something and I know it. Third item is eating nutrient rich, 80 to 90% of the time. That means eating fruit, veggies, lean proteins, staying away from beige foods like croissants, breads, candy, chocolate, especially the milk chocolate versus dark chocolate. How you been doing the last 4 weeks? This is part where so many people get sideswiped because of the holidays. It's like, I was doing great till mom started bringing out the baked goods. And I was like, can't do it. By day 3, being at home, I'm like shoveling them in. So for me, an 8 there. Got a little carried away over the holidays. Not too bad. Brought it right back in. So proud to be able to tell you that, because that was a huge journey for me over the years. So again, go back to more, less, start, stop. What do you have to do? What do you want to start? Maybe right now, today. What do you want to stop towards being nutrient rich? What do you need more of in your life or in your fridge? What do you need less of in your pantry? Get it? Pretty cool. I love that framework. So powerful. Next up, exercise. So I'm giving myself a 7 there. For some reason, I've been doing my running, but I haven't been hitting the weights. I don't know what that is about. So today, my goal is, after our training and our Zoom roundtables, to get in the gym and hit those weights and really get that heart rate up and really get that feeling. I love the feeling of getting through a good workout. But what is it for you? How you been doing the last 4 weeks? Be honest. Go ahead, write it down. Next up, taking breaks. And for that, I'm going to give myself a 9. So in high performance and in life, the more we take breaks throughout our day, about every 50 to 75 minutes, maybe a 5-minute break, the more in touch we feel with our day. The less we feel like it's, oh, there was another day. We're taking breaks, kind of popping our head up. I always like to think of it like a submarine. You're in the water and you pop your periscope up, look around. Hey, how's this day going? Am I doing okay? I'm going to take a break, get a drink, just think about what I've done, bring some intention to what I'm going to do. So what have you been doing there in the last 4 weeks? A lot of people got derailed as the new year started. They got in the holidays, got things thrown off, and their routines fell away. So if that's something you need to double down on or start or do more of, put it on your sheet. Cannot wait to hear how that works for you. Rocking it out. Next up, happiness. Now, the way we define happiness is twofold. Obviously, there's a bazillion ways you can define it. One is, are you around people who generally uplift you? So if you've been with me on New Year's Day and then talking with me, I hope I'm uplifting you, taking care of you, helping you feel a little happier, feel more joy. The second is what we call the trifecta of happiness. Have you been learning new things? Have you been creating from what you've learned? Have you been sharing those things with the world? Now think about that for a minute, because in line with what we're going to teach today, that's a great way to do that work. Even if you're not interested in monetizing a legacy, a purposeful legacy like we'll teach, the idea is that we're learning new things, creating from what we've learned, and sharing it with the world. And it can be as simple as learning something new, taking literally a picture of a quote, maybe you highlighted a quote in a book, and then posting that on social. You learned something new, created from what you've learned, shared it with the world. Imagine if more people did that. I've got my Facebook feed pretty clean in the sense that the people that are showing up are generally putting positive, good messages in the world or good pictures about what they're up to. Living life, right? I give people that 3 strikes and you're out thing, where if I see negative, blame, excuse, denial, gossip, I hit that button that says, you know what, I still want to be friends with this person, but don't show me any of their stuff. Every once in a while I'll revisit it, see if they've changed. Sometimes I'll challenge them. Hey, you know what? You keep posting things like this. Have you ever thought about, I gotten a couple interesting discussions, we'll say, around that over the years. But that's the idea. Being around people who uplift you, and then learning, creating, and sharing. And I always say learn, create, share, like it's a big cycle, right? What's there for you? How well you been doing with that? What do you got to do more of? What do you got to do less of? What do you got to start? What do you got to stop? Good stuff so far? Next, presence. How present have you been? I'm going to give myself a 9+. Here's what happens, and it may happen for you. Go through the holidays and your brain's on what you're trying to think about for 2019 instead of being here with people. And I work diligently to make sure this year, better than any year previous, that I park those ideas, I type them out in Evernote, that's what I use. And as I came up, I just kind of slid out, got my computer out, typed those ideas just to get them out of my head, but capture them. Sometimes I capture them on voice memo on the phone, other times in notes, those kind of things. You follow? I hope this is helping you. This is huge towards getting more present, less distracted, more focused, more clarity, really going after it. So 9+ for me. If you're struggling with presence, go back to your visualization sheet. What do you need to do more of? What do you need to focus less on? What do you need to start? What do you need to stop? So many people are not present because they have focus on things that they feel are almost fears. Like, I got to keep that in mind, otherwise things are going to fall apart. But if they write it out, document it, sometimes that helps. That's what I've seen with a lot of the people that I've coached. So I hope this helps you. Next up is finances. Kind of ties into profitability. I'm going to put a 10 there. Goes right back to that idea. How well are we doing with our taking care of our expenses and our debts? How well are we doing with having, that cushion or that money to spend on things that we love to do or have? And how well are we doing at saving for the future? And just some context there, 5%, 10%, 25%, if you can be saving that per month, especially as you get 10% or above, massive for the future. David Bach teaches that in Automatic Millionaire. A couple other, Warren Buffett, I think, has some videos on that. Just saving for the future, really owning that. So back here at 10 for me, living finally dialed that in over, I'll just say the last 2 decades, because I'm not going to tell you my age, because I look, what about 28, 29? Got my hair done today. Shaved, I guess. Got a little bit of highlights going on. But you get the idea. It's really, really important we take that and we grow. And that's what I feel I've done in the line of finances. But how are you doing? What do you need to do more of? What do you need to do less of? What do you got to start? What do you got to stop in that realm? Purpose. How well have you been feeling about this? It's kind of the same as above. How well have you been doing living purposefully? Do you have a well-defined purpose statement? What's showing up for you there? And number 10, where we put it in action. Because here's what we know. So many people are like, yeah, I got to make some changes. And hopefully with the more or less start-stop idea, and you can just highlight one and just assign it for a week. Like week 1 is start this. Week 2 is stop that. Week 3 is more of this. Week 4 is less of that. You follow? Just giving you real nitty-gritty tactics to go through and rock it. So with the daily plan, how are you doing at planning out your day? Do you have the high performance planner? Great way to do this, to get the connection with how you want to feel throughout your day. If you're in the 10-day Health, Wealth, and Happiness Challenge or went through it, I gave you a worksheet. And you'll see the learn, create, share in there. And you'll see the way we plan our day out, right? Really, really powerful. So for my daily plan, I'm on that with the 10 plus, rocking it. Now what I want to do as we shift to the training part of our time together today is help you recognize these are each days in the 10-day Health, Wealth, and Happiness Challenge. Also, after I created the challenge, I said I needed a tool to bring it all together. So it was literally a few months after I created the challenge, I came up with that wheel of perspective. That big circle thing you get on I think it's day 11 in the 10-day challenge. That's a PDF that you can print and you can pop your ratings and see whether you have an asteroid or a dinky little circle or your full wheel. But the wheel shows you where you're out of perspective. So now as we go into the training aspect of today, why did I create the 10-day Health, Wealth, and Happiness Challenge? I kind of framed for it at the beginning of our time together today. It was two major reasons and a third benefit. The first reason was I felt like I got to capture what I've learned for me. I've got to capture what I've learned about just the simplicity of these 10 things that own me staying below 200 pounds, but also above and beyond the weight aspect, feeling my best, looking my best, and like being my best. You see? So here's what I know, and in some of my older videos you can see this back before 2012, like 2009, 10, 11. You'd see what I call glaze face on my being. It was just like a glassiness in my eyes and just a glaziness in my skin. And it's because I was eating so much processed food. I was also puffier, a lot bigger. And so I looked at that and I was like, man, I don't look my best. And you can just tell that I'm not healthy-ish. But then when I switched over time, and I teach you how I did that in the 10-day challenge, to being more nutrient-rich eating, meaning a lot more greens, like kale smoothies. I never ever did that previous to jumping into my journey in getting things sorted. Once I did that, I saw when I was editing my own videos, I was like, wow, look at that. I got like sparkle in my eye. I don't have glazed face, as I call it. I'm feeling great. going after it, being here with you, having the energy to just teach all day long. 2008, 2009, we would run these events called the ISG Way, and they were like half-day events, and by an hour in, I was tanked. Today, I can teach, and I have, for 8 hours, 10 hours in a day, and I keep my energy going and all that, but it's just being here for you, but also having the biology, the physiology that supports that. You follow? The second piece was making sure that I had a legacy for what I believe is the only real legacy I'm going to leave on this planet, my girls. If my girls struggle in any of these core areas, that they have dad telling them, hey, here's what you got to think about. Here's how you want to go through. Own it. And we've had a discussion. I actually had them go through it. We did the Wheel of Perspective. We do it every so often. But that has been everything for me. Girls, if I can just put something on video, so whether you're with me or you're not, and you're like, Dad, I'm struggling with sleep, we got a baseline for that. Day 1. Day 2, we got hydration, how important it is. Day 3. So this is a huge part. The legacy of that has helped myself, because I rewatched those, and my girls, my family. But here's the part that I hoped would happen, and it has in major ways, is it's helped hundreds of people over the since it was made, almost 6 years ago, 5.5 years ago, really get clear on what the needle movers are. And people love the challenge aspect of it. People are like, I'm on it because it's a challenge. If I did a 10-day review, that probably wouldn't have the impact of the word challenge, because challenge, that can be heavy duty, right? So as you think about maybe creating something along those lines for you, a purposeful legacy, here's the kind of breakdown for how I thought that through using best practices. And now we teach a lot of this. So some of this is going to be recap if you've been with me before. Others of this is just how I would approach it today and how I am approaching it today with a business challenge that I'm going to be putting together. Entrepreneurial challenge. Also an internet challenge. So we're going to be ramping up the challenges as other funnels over this year. And these are the things that I'm thinking through. This is the framework that I recommend. First, we always talk about the ambition line. Something that Brendan Burchard teaches in Experts Academy. Something we teach in High Performance Coaching, Session 10, the persuasion formula. This kind of goes above and beyond the persuasion formula, but that lays the land for this. So the very first thing I did is I said, what's my ambition for people who want to go through the 10-day challenge? What is it that I really want them to have, to be? What's the goal or the output from it? And the goal for me was simple. I want them to recognize there's just 10 fairly simple areas that if you spend time in each of these, you're going to feel better. You're going to be better. And it's going to help you, your family, your friends, hopefully your relationships. You follow? So it was real clear. The other side of the ambition was, Charlie, I got asked this a lot. Dude, I haven't seen you in 5 years. Who are you? You look like you shrunk and you look great. They hadn't seen me. They saw me at 270 pounds and I was 195, 193, somewhere in there, right? And I'm like, I did 10 things in this order, pretty much. Sleep was definitely the keystone habit as we teach. If you haven't read the book, Power of Habit, Charles Duhigg talks about the keystone habit. That's critical to get dialed in so you have the willpower for the rest of this stuff. I went from the night owl to the morning guy. And I went from 6, 5, 4, 3 hours of sleep some nights to consistent 7.5 to 8. You follow? That was a huge shift for me. So I wanted to make sure I recognized the ambition. Then I came back to the struggle and I said, what were my struggles? The struggle was I felt like crap. I wasn't clear on what I needed to do. I thought it was this is honest truth here. I thought it was all about exercise and not so much about eating. I'm in my brain, it was 90% exercise and 10% what I ate. What I discovered, because the way I started my journey, is I did not do anything but walk. I didn't go into the weights or anything for 6 months. I started by running, ease into 5K app. A huge thanks to my sister-in-law, Amy, for introducing me to that. And I said at the end of 2011, beginning 2012, I'm going to go through and do these specific things. Running is one of them, but I'm not going to do much exercise. I'm just going to change the way I eat in my lifestyle. I had as you know, in the high performance or in the 10-day challenge, I talk about cheat day. And boy, I was, especially in the beginning, I was waiting for cheat day because I wanted to just pig out. Eventually that faded though. Today I have a cheat meal a week. And I just create, I make sure it's a great meal, whatever that is. That's the thing. So then what I had to do, and this is my challenge for you if you're going to build one, is I said the struggle, get real clear on it. And then this requires some strategy. It's to say, to go from the struggle to the ambition, what are the steps that need to be taken? And then putting them in the right order. So here's what I know. If you get your sleep, hydration, and eating right, and you don't do anything else, a lot of this stuff happens automatically. Like you're going to feel better. You'll feel more present, at least more aware. You'll have maybe a little more purpose in your day. Purpose, because you won't be so much in the blame, excuse, denial, the drag, neutral, negative energy. Some of this stuff just happens automatically. So these were the three that I really wanted to own, and I knew they had to be done first. So I did my research to figure out that once you get the keystone habit of sleep, you have more energy, more drive, more willpower for these two and these. You follow? So when you sleep, hydrate, and eat right, that's like the biggest part of the battle. You could stop there and people would feel better. You follow? Then I said, okay, that's what we know about the biology of the body is we got to move, we got to get sweaty. Every 2-3 times a week for 20, 30, 40, 60 minutes. So we got to introduce that. Then, from what we know in high performance and what I've discovered in my journey, we got to add breaks. We got to stop, assess how we're doing, and just kind of recap. That's been everything towards me crushing productivity, especially in light of the aspect of productivity of getting things done. Then the happiness. What do we need to do to bring awareness to that? So these are very tactical and very much about the biology of our being. These step into the brain, right? So that's how I laid out my ambition line. That if I can get you dialed in these areas, and every one of these topics is coachable. Sleep coaches, exercise coaches, fitness coaches. I think there's hydration coaches. I know there's people that are teaching wellness, what you eat, those kind of things. Obviously exercise breaks, these kind of things. We teach all this stuff in high performance, which is why I love that framework and how it kind of glides into this. So let's recap here for you. In line of what we've taught today, if you're going to lay out your own challenge, what's the big struggle? What is it, the outputs or the goal or the goals that you want them to achieve? And then how can you split out the steps? And it goes right into the next topic. One topic per day, video, email, whatever it is. So I wanted to make sure that if these were all steps, I didn't clump any of these together. They all stand alone. Here's why that's important. If you follow me for any amount of time, you know my purpose statement's do part says to help people improve their lives from where they're at to where they want to be. But most people don't dream big enough. And a lot of people report to me, Charlie, you know what? As I have that conversation, I'll say it to them like this. Hey, I'm Charlie, and I help people from where they're at to where they want to be. I do that in life, in business, and online. Are you struggling anywhere? Dude, I'm struggling in life. What's the problem? I just can't keep focused. My energy's all over the place. I go, how you doing on sleep, hydration, and eating? And they're like, sleep, really tanked. Hydration, I do pretty well there. Eating, yeah, eh. I said, would it be cool if I sent you a couple links about sleep and eating that will help you in those areas? And so the way I structured sleep all of these days is that I can send you the exact day from the challenge. You follow? Huge shift. Huge shift. Got something coming up here. Oh, okay. And I just want to make sure from your perspective that you get that if you're going to build this one topic per day per video, is that you can send one day that by itself can make a major difference in somebody's life. You follow? I know this can get tricky when you're thinking about it like from a vision, strategy, and plan perspective, but that's why I'm here. So if you need help, comment. Would love for you to comment and let me know, what is it for you to create that challenge? And the way I approach that is I just take out a big flip chart or whiteboard and threw it all up there, and then I just work through, here's how I think that should go through, and then I bounced it by a few people. So in our beautiful mastery community, you have that option, right? To bounce it by us, to own it. one topic per day, and I'll even add here, and I'll take a picture of this and put it in a replay, is have links, like individual links to each video or day, or however you're going to lay it out. So for example, if you go to bit.ly/10day1sl, bit.ly/10day1sl. So my pattern is 10 day, 1 is day 1. SL is sleep, I just use the first 2 letters. That will take you right into the sleep day. 10 day 2 EA, HY, takes you right into the hydration day. 10 day 3 EA, I remembered that and I made bit.ly links, bit.ly. It's a place that you can make shorter links so that I could just give that out. And I put them in my phone, I can copy and paste it in text and help people. This presumes, of course, that you really want to help people and that you're able to go granular and recognize, you know what? It sounds to me like even though you're having a relationship issue with everything, it comes down to you're not getting no sleep, dude. You got to get more sleep. Would it be cool if I sent you a video that I have, about 3 to 5 minutes? I think you'll find it funny, because if you watch the 10-day challenge day 1, what do I tell you? I'm actually in the master bedroom. And I said, ever watch MTV Cribs? Where they say, this is the room magic happens in. And they're usually talking about, you know what they're talking about. I'm like, this is the room where the magic happens. You get this dialed in, you get sleep. You feel like a different person. You follow? So my challenge for you as you do your day is bring some comedy, some joy. We'll talk about this down here, but the idea is you got to bring the energy, bring the joy. That's why I'm wearing my Bring the Joy shirt today. Just want to make sure we keep this frame as we go through this. You follow? So far, how are we doing here? Check on the comments. Oh yeah, love this. Got some beautiful people on here, rocking it out. Linda, Vanessa, Rob, Nina, Patrick. I love it. Thanks guys for commenting and being here. I hope you're liking that new format that we're doing. We're going to extend that in our business internet mastery. So these 2 elements, really critical. If you need help developing your ambition line, and it doesn't have to be 10 days, it could be 7, it could be 5, it could be 20, 21. That's totally cool, whatever that is for you. Let me know, we'll do that work. Either we can set up vision, strategy, and planning. I have a product or an offer for that, or we can do it in our Zoom roundtable at a basic level. Be happy to help you kind of flesh that out. But I would challenge you to lay out the ideas you have first, and then we can kind of bounce how, kind of talk it out, see which one goes first. Next, 1 topic per day. And I would challenge you to make sure each day stands alone. Like if you go into the hydration day and the eating day, especially the eating day, I'm in the kitchen making the high performance shake, I call it. And yeah, I forgot to put the top on the blender in my face. I almost edited that out, but I was like, no, I'm gonna leave that in. I'm like, so much fun. Give you the recipe, I give you some other resources. You follow how this kind of works? Third element is to follow the TSTC format. Now, if you've been with us, you know what that is. I'm going to go over it with you just to make sure. First is the theme. Second is the story or stories or illustration that support the theme. Third is the teachable point or points. Now recognize in these videos that I wanted to keep them 3 to 12 minutes, and I think one of them is 12. And the challenge. So all I did in those videos, and I'll talk about the tech in a little bit, is I had my tripod and I had a camera on it. The Sony NEX5R is how that particular challenge was filmed. And below the camera, I put a index card that had the theme, the story, the teachable points, and that. And it just kind of got me started. And then I went like off of that. You follow? Like that was it. But that's the format I followed. So let's break this down so you get the understanding of it. The theme for day 1 is sleep. The story or illustration is me talking about how I was a night owl playing computer games, didn't recognize magic happened in the bedroom. That sounds funny just to say it, by the way. And the teachable point is I would give you, I think it's 2 to 3 teachable points. And then I would challenge you on those points. You follow? So inside every one of these little slashes, so this is day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, we dive into 1 topic per day. And each of these has a theme, a story or illustration, teachable point or points, and a challenge. Does that make sense? Is that too much? And I just want to make sure you saw that as we owned it. So far, I hope you're getting this. And again, you can watch the replay to get more. Sometimes it takes 3 times to watch a replay or listen to the replay to get that click to really own it. I hope this is helping. So let's recap what we've done so far, because I want to make sure you're grasping this. First and foremost, we're clear about the ambition, and we're clear about where the struggle is. Clear about the ambition, the 10-day Health, Wealth, and Happiness Challenge is to help people live healthier, wealthier, and happier. Going back to the struggle, what is hindering us from health, wealth, and happiness? And you'll see all of that show up here. Now let's build out a framework that really helps them. Some of this is in the 1-9 ladder that we teach in high performance. This stuff especially. The first 5 are in the 1-9 ladder. And so really working up towards the ambition. And why is it important to us? And I love this connection for me, is that if you go into the 10-day Health, Wealth, and Happiness Challenge, you can actually download my weight charts for the first, from when I started January 1 of 2012 through August of 2012. When July 25th, 2012, I went below 200 pounds for the first time in 20 years because of living into this. You follow? I wanted to be so open, transparent. We'll hit that. Where are we going to hit that? Oh, right here. I wanted to make sure we owned that. I really had to get into that mindset, because back then, this was 2011, 12, 13. I wasn't like I am today on camera. You'll see that I was working to get that behavior, that animation, that kind of just expressiveness and getting there. But I can tell when I watch those videos, I'm like, oh, I've come so far. We all do if we practice, right? Second is 1 topic per day, have links to each video. And my challenge for you is to have the day stand alone. Like, don't make the prerequisite that you had to watch yesterday to see today. It will help if you watch yesterday to see today. Like if you went into eating, it'd help if you got sleep and hydration before. But if you go into today, and I just send you that link, you'll see right in there that there's a place for you to join the challenge, and it will start you on day 1. You follow? 1 topic per day, have links to each video, be able to pop those out to people. Like even on your phone, you can set up on an iPhone these little text, like the app Text Expander, you can set up these little, you type a few characters and it will shoot out a link. It's inside text replacement, I think is what it is, if you Google it. It really helps. And then 3, how do you structure each day? Now let me go a little bit more deep than what we had covered. We have the theme of sleep. We have the story, and inside the story, we're living into this again. We're living into what's the struggle with this theme or this topic, and what's the ambition for this theme or topic, and get descriptive there. And I hope I did a good job of it. My struggle was playing games. My struggle was not going to sleep. My struggle was, I'm never going to be the morning guy. But I didn't recognize being the morning guy for me gave me the 8 hours that I needed, 7.5, 8 hours of sleep. And I was a different person as I got into really owning that. Just trialing it actually in the very beginning of 2012. And that's the piece. Third element here is the teachable point. 3 things you got to know. 2 things you got to know about sleep. Then challenging them on it. So what are you going to do with what we just covered here? And if I can help you, let me know. That kind of language. And you might go into the teachable point. So what I taught you about owning your nighttime shutdown routine, what are you going to do tonight different than you've done before? How are you going to leave this video with a little more direction, a little more impact than before? You follow? So also what I did is I overlaid what we teach and what's been taught, not only through Brendan, but through Jeff Walker, Frank Kern, Russell Brunson, the VVVS sequence. If that is a bunch of V's and S's, you know what that means. It means value, 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 sale, value, 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 sale, value, sale. You see there's 10 total characters here. So inside the 10-day challenge, every 4th day, so day 4, day 8, and then on the 10th day, I'm offering you something to further your journey. The workbook, a high performance coaching, get the questionnaire or the application. You follow? So you're demonstrating value for 3 days. So day 1 is sleep, day 2 is eating, day 2 is hydrate, day 3 is eating, day 4 is exercise. On that day, I'm saying I got a workbook for you that really helps you make this real for you. And it's a thick workbook and has all these things in it. And that workbook I have printed at FedEx and bound there, and it's beautiful. I should have brought it in here. But the idea is that you get something that really forwards your journey. You follow? So I'm adjusting the offers in that to go after whether we have Health, Wealth, and Happiness Season 1. We're going to be doing that. I'll talk about that some other time. But the idea is this is the format for how to monetize your purposeful legacy if that's your desire. And it may not be, and that's totally cool. A lot of people that I meet, they have a good job, they're set up financially, they don't care about, they're like, you know what, I don't really need to make money at this. I just want to take my life's lessons and put them in as goodwill to the world and help people that way. You follow? And if you don't, then it's just V's all the way across. If you want to monetize it, I challenge you on every 4th day. Let's say you had a 16-day or 17-day challenge. It'd be 4th day, 8th day, 12th day, 16th day. And the 17th day would be like, here's what we've covered. Here's everything you need to know. And here is how I can help you go further along these ambition line or along this ambition line. You follow? I hope this is all connected for you because this is gold. It's so powerful. And then the 5th one, and this was what I really was talking about earlier, I had to work on, was to be 30% more open, vulnerable, and animated. And back then, that was a little bit of a stretch for me. As I worked those muscles, just like when you work out, I'm like, animated. I think I'm pretty animated. But here, this was so powerful. The inspiration for that came from a challenge Brendan did with us. I think it was in 2014. So as I look back, this is what I was trying to accomplish. And I think I saw it in the physiology piece. Brendan said it at some point. But when we were at CHPC Week 2014, it was in Fremont, California, right across from the Tesla plant, if you were there, if any of the coaches are on this session today. And he challenged us in the physiology role play to get in groups of 4 or 5. And I can't think of his name, but he's a yoga instructor and he travels the world. And he was in our group. And he's a guy that was so incredibly shy. It seemed like he was shy and just chill. And he's in our group. And Brendan's challenge us was this. I want you to share something you're passionate about with 30% more energy, volume, tempo, like all these things, and just expressiveness and go. It can be anything you want. I think it was 2 minutes. And I'm like doing it and I was like feeling a little weird. And others were doing it and they're like, okay. He got it. He came out like a monster. And he was like, whoa, and he was going after it. And we're all like, whoa, like, and he's a tall dude. So we're like, it was crazy. Here's what I know. On camera, the more expressive, open, vulnerable you are, especially in light of what's going on today with so many people doing Facebook Lives, the more connected you usually have, the more connection you usually have with the people that are following you. You know? Like it was a stretch for me back then, big time, for me to say, hey, ever watch MTV Cribs and the master bedrooms where the magic happens while I'm filming in the master suite in our beautiful condo? Like, that was the trick. I was like, I don't believe I just did that. So this is huge. So if you're going to make a checklist, here's the checklist. Here's how I built the Purposeful Legacy. So in the last section, what do we got? Oh, perfect. Got a perfect amount of time left for us today. The last part of our work together today is this. It's to assure you have marching orders, technology, everything ready to go if you want to build this. First and foremost, I know we covered a lot today. And I know there's a lot more depth that I could probably go over if you really wanted to sort of flesh this out. But you got the lay of the land, and you've seen the example if you've been through the 10-day challenge. If you have not, I'll put that up here, bit.ly/10 days for you. 10 days for you. 10 days, the number 4, the letter U. If you get in there, it automatically, if you click the button, it takes you over to a free offer in Kajabi, and then boom, day 1 is sent to you immediately. So the idea is that we have the equipment and the tech. The original 10-day challenge was built using Weebly, and it's still out there as that, because that's how all those links work, where I did the 10-day one SL, bit.10day1sl. That goes to my Weebly page, and Weebly's totally free. So I used Weebly. Back when I started, I used iContact to get the opt-in. Now I use Kajabi, but I moved from iContact to MailChimp, and it still is in MailChimp, and it's also in Kajabi. Now I know that's maybe a little confusing for you, but here's the way I would do it today if you want to do it completely free. Go on to Weebly or Wix, get yourself a free account. You don't have to worry about like web addresses and stuff like that because you use bit.ly links and an opt-in for it. If you're not using Kajabi, you can use iContact or MailChimp. I personally prefer MailChimp, and that will really help get the email addresses and then send them an automated sequence of emails out. If you need help or want to see mine, let me know. I'm more than happy to share that with you. I'll give you all the 10-day sequence. For people that joined us on the New Year's Day Jumpstart, I added them into Kajabi's product. Big note for Kajabi users. And it totally did not send them the automated sequence. So I double checked on it. It sent them announcements every day. Didn't send them the sequence that I have set up, which is such a bummer. But I said, why is that? And I went in and checked, and if they signed up versus me adding a bunch of people into the offer, if they signed up individually for the offer, it sent them the sequence. If I added them, even one person, into the offer, it sends them the announcements instead of the email sequence, the beautiful stories that I've been able to create. If that didn't make any sense to you, make a comment, and maybe I'll do another video on that. The idea is let them sign up or sign them up versus you add them as an offer. Bottom line is this: in Kajabi, if you add them to an offer, it sends them auto announcements versus the email sequence that's associated with the product. And it stinks because the stories in there are awesome. And somebody asked me, Shar, rather than announcements, why didn't you tell us in the subject line what the day is? And I'm like, that's the way it worked. Unfortunately, I discovered that after I added everybody. I don't know there was any other way to do that. So if you happen to know, let me know, but that's kind of how that played out. Weebly for a free site, Wix for a free site, then MailChimp, I think you can do that even free, or Weebly or Wix now have email integration. And then you just lay out each of the days. I tell another story. I tell something that supports the day in those. I built those out every day as the day in advance of the day rolling out. And that was during High Performance Academy 2013 when I did those emails. I remember being in Santa Clara and I'm sitting in a hotel room before we had to go downstairs to get ready for the event. And I'm keying out tomorrow's email and then I'm posting it. And then I'm also putting it in the sequence because I wanted it to be real. So often when you try to create, okay, my task is to create 10 days, you lose the deep work, the essence of the connection. So that was the equipment or the technology in that regard. In terms of the equipment I used the Sony NEX 5R, I think I still have it, NEX 5, but today I would use an iPhone. And I didn't have a mic. But here's an example of a tripod that you could use with an iPhone today. This is about 10, 15 bucks on Amazon. This little thing, like you put your iPhone in here, and then you can stand right here, put your note card right below, and be like, hey guys, Charlie here. Today, we're going to talk about sleep. How have you ever ... And that would be it. So a tripod with this, or if you had a selfie stick, whatever that is. If you wanted to use a microphone, I don't know that I have a link to it, but there is a way to do a lavalier mic on an iPhone that gives you a little better audio, and that would work just fine. My challenge for you though is you do the work, do what I did and go into different places. That really added to the experience, I think. A lot of people reported they loved how on the President's Day, I'm out on the tennis courts and I'm talking about, could you imagine if Tiger Woods or Serena Williams on the tennis court was playing a game and just said, hold on a minute, I got a text, and how it would ruin her presence and focus? So play the game of life the way the pros play their games. That was the connection that I made in the story. You follow? So the outline, make your outline. Follow the S to A. Decide on how many days. Sometimes that comes after the fact. And then assure that each day stands alone. So first of all, make your outline. I would follow this format and do this. Assure each day stands alone, and you have one topic per day. That inside each of the days, you have TSTC. And finally, that you, if this is important to you to monetize, that you've introduced on day 4, day 8, if you have day 12, whatever that is for you, you have something more for them. Not that you're selling them per se, you're educating them on how to buy, you're educating them on how to get further depth on what we've covered so far, and that you can take care of them there. Cool? So hopefully by now, you got the context, now you know what's outlined. Third is film your first video. And if you decide to go after this challenge, and you do film this, please share it either on Facebook, in our mastery community, or just with me via email is fine too. With C2 via email. Because here's what I know. I took and I filmed day 1 and then I sent it to a few people. And I didn't actually refilm it. People were like, dude, you crushed that. I love how you're in the master suite and you're talking about this and that and the other thing. I was like, oh, is it good? Is there anything I missed? And they're like, no, that was stood alone. I was like, whew. Then I went into day 2. Then I went into the kitchen on day 3. Then I went into day 4, day 5, day 6. And it's so funny because when I filmed day 5, 6, and 7, so day 5 was breaks, day 6, happiness, day 7, presence. That was all filmed in like the same day. And I shaved my head in the middle of the day to make it feel like a different day. And I changed my clothes and all that. But I was filming like 2 or 3 days in a day. 2 or 3 days of the challenge in one day. And then finally edit those videos. I used iMovie solely for those videos. And that's real simple editor. Create a funnel. So this is where you could create for every day. You have an email story. If you need that illustration, that example, let me know. I'm happy to share that with you. Post and then market. And so the marketing aspect of it is just driving people to the opt-in, the very first page. So if you go to this address right now, bit/10 days for you, you get to a very basic opt-in page. Like it doesn't have a lot of emotional benefit there, but it's worked very well because of the story, a little bit of a story I tell about feeling, looking, being your best. I'm here for you, I care for you, those kind of things. You follow? So that being said, in the last 2 minutes of what we got here today, I want to recap what we've done. We talked about the underpinning of why something along these lines is important to drive purpose, passion, positivity, productivity, and if you want to monetize profitability into this, we went through the 10 needle movers, which are the 10-day health, wealth, and happiness challenge. You see how this thing has legs and it stands and has for, 18 months now in our mastery community? And then I broke down exactly how I thought through the entire 10-day sequence and how I would think through any challenge today and how I'm thinking through challenges I'm making right now. Struggle to ambition, the ambition line. Inside that are the steps to go from here to here. Why is it important? Covered that with you. We talk about one topic per day, have links to each video, and they should stand alone. Theme, story, illustration, teachable points, challenge. That should be in every video. TSTC. If you're monetizing on the 4th day, the 8th day, and the 10th day, if you have a 10-day challenge, those should all talk about how you can help them further after you do this. So you're adding value, and then you're talking about how you can take that further for them. And then finally, be 30% more open, more vulnerable, and animated on those videos. And I hope I demonstrated it in the 10-day challenge. Your tactics today is to consider the way you want that delivered and the tools you're going to use. I showed you the tripod and the phone. Is to do your outline. Is to film at least one and share it with me or with our group, whatever it is for you, whatever you're comfortable with. And then we can go into the nitty-gritty of creating, editing the videos, creating the funnel, creating or posting this, and then driving people to it. So if you've seen, every so often I'll share a day of the challenge. And I'll just like, if it's National Sleep Month or whatever it is, I'll share, hey, it's National Sleep Month, here's some ideas. And then in that video, wherever it is, I'll link in the comment to the challenge. And I'll do that every so often. So this thing has legs for life. Does that help? Thank you so much for helping me today, or helping me help you today. Live more purposefully, more passionately, more positively, more productively, and if you desire, more profitably too. I hope you found today's training incredibly helpful. And it's kind of neat to see it behind the scenes of the beautiful 10-day health, wealth, and happiness challenge. I will see you guys if you're in the mastery community. We'll be starting in 1 hour, and we're going to move this into how I look at books, assessments, and how we can monetize those things, or how we can create value clips for those things, or quote cards. So I got some books and some content here we're going to break out. And then after that, we're going to do our monthly Zoom roundtable. And I got, look at all these questions. Got all kinds of questions. Thanks to everybody who supplied those questions. I know some of you guys can't join us today, but you supply questions. You're going to watch the replay. I'll see you guys in about an hour. Thank you so much. Take care, everybody. Bye. We rocked it. Woohoo!